I called it to a T. I called it. We have a Luffy and Lucci as one side of the anniversary units. And then Zoro and Kaku as the other side. I mean, are we surprised? No, this made perfect sense considering everything that we'd received throughout the month of February. So we have a Luffy Lucci and we have a Kaku Zoro. My assumption, without reading anything, is that this character is going to be fighter focused. This character is going to be slasher focused. That makes a ton of sense to me. Let's see what we get. Alright, we have the official news. Let's go to the English side of things. Let me just turn off this so we can see where the English begins. Okay, Luffy and Lucci overlapping guns. Is there any news on... No news in game. Okay. So we're just looking at this. Let's see what we got. Okay, Luffy and Lucci overlapping guns. They are a dual unit, so my assumption is they might have captain shift, potentially. Fighter shooter, that's an interesting combination. Anyways, fighter shooter, barrier pierce is good. Final tap is... could be problematic. Yeah, that could be bad. Alright, let's zoom out again. Okay, so... they have captain shift. Okay, so I guess we shouldn't really be surprised. So it looks like Luffy is Dex, Lucci is Quick, EX Super, Final Tap Sugo Special. So far, nothing new, nothing super interesting. Okay, Fighter Shooter. I want to look at the captain ability first. United Front at Labo Phase building a 4th floor. What a name for a captain ability. The effect is their double character form, reduces crew special charge time by 2 turns at the start of the quest, boosts fighter, shooter, and free spirit and slasher characters HP and attack, HP 1.3, attack 5.5, boosts their attack by approximately 6x when HP is 70% or above, or 30% or below. Already, not liking that condition too much, but, and you gotta remember, this is their dual captain, so... Solo captain, I would hope, is going to be decent at least. They reduce special reverse by 10 turns. I like that. Recovery, tandem are beneficial. For any character with barrier pierce as a potential ability and meets the requirement for it to activate, reduces the duration of barriers and resilience of the enemy hit by the normal attack by 1 turn, and reduces defense up by 1 turn when you land a successful perfect strike. So... okay, I feel like... this effect probably isn't going to be too valuable. The reason why I say that is because a lot of characters these days that have the barrier pierce potential ability, they are no longer like the buffed version of it where, you know, normally if a Sugofest exclusive would have this effect, it would just be permanently active. But considering their captain ability is focused on being in between the thresholds of 70% or 30% or below, my assumption is this character will have their barrier pen work in a very similar fashion, which if that is the case, I'm not really the biggest fan of that. So, special reverse is really good, multipliers are fine, and then 2-turn cooldown, like that's all good stuff. This is fine. This effect I just think is like, it's okay. I'm not like jumping for joy over this particular ability, but it seems okay, you know what I mean? It seems fine. Let's have a look at the special. So the special... Unusual United Front deals 300 times their attack and non-type damage to one enemy, ignoring basically everything. Reduces crew special bind duration by 7 turns, so I'm assuming that their EX Super will be able to remove special bind on themselves. That would make sense. Or they got a crewmate ability that removes it. Because as a captain, they don't have the ability to remove it. Interesting. If captain is Dex or quick type fighter or slasher, allows the crew to stack up to 2 different damage boosting effects. Oh shit. Ooh, okay. So double stacking conditional boosts, that's always nice to have. But you need to have a Dex or quick type fighter or slasher. A little bit of a weird condition, but double stacking conditional boost is good. If you have a Dex or quick type shooter or free spirit, applies set target status to all enemies for 1 turn. 1.75 times set target status. Okay, hang on. Set target status for 1 turn. Wait, hang on. This is interesting. The reason why I say this is interesting is sometimes the set target status only works for certain characters, but it just says you need to have a dex or quick type, shooter or free spirit class. You get set target status for 1 turn, and then it says cannot be affected by immunity, 1.75, and then you get -1 cooldown if you kill them. But it doesn't, there's no condition, there's no like, the set target status works for all characters. Because sometimes the set target status is only for slashers, or only for shooters, or only for dex units. This is just like straight up, as long as you fulfill the condition, you get set target status and double stacking conditional boosts. So far, from what I'm reading, this character looks phenomenal for high damage content. This is a fantastic ability. Double stacking conditional boost and set target status, very good. I'm liking this so far. Their special does allow them to fuse. I'm assuming... maybe they don't combine into their dual unit with their switch effect. Interesting. Okay. I like that. I think overall, looking at their special now, this character is pretty cool. Okay. Crewmate ability. Reduce cooldown by 1 at the start of the quest for all characters. That's kind of cool. This effect is kind of whatever. Okay. Final tap. Reach the final battle. Reduce the duration of resilience by 3. Dude, I'm about to lose my freaking mind. Why do they keep doing this? Who benefits from this? Come on. Oh my god, dude. Nah, this unit... Nah, I'm convinced this unit sucks. This unit just sucks now. Immediately, I hate them. Why do they do this over and over again? These poor final tap units are just plagued with these base attack bullshit effects. They're so bad. Okay, well at least that's a positive in one sense, because you don't need to pull dupes to level up a final tap. Dude, is it so hard to ask for a final tap Sugo special that makes the character's damage super effective against all types, or something along those lines? Heck, even give it the effect where it multiplies the chain of the final tap by like 2x. That's infinitely better than whatever this bullshit is. This is terrible. Come on, dude. Are we really gonna deal with this again? Oh, dude. I'm so heated about this. All right, EX Super. Let's move on. When you become captain with captain shift, or 3 or more of the following characters are on the crew, and you can activate it as a crewmate. That's very good. So it's any of the Straw Hats, any of the CP characters, Stussy, Bonnie, and Kuma. Interesting. Changes dex to super dex, quick to super quick. That's kind of annoying. I wish they changed the class as well. Changes crew slots including block into tandem. Changes crew slots including block to tandem. Changes character's super block slot to tandem, ignoring ability to change super block. Well, I don't know why they're listing that twice. I feel like that's wrong. That's odd. Okay. Boost damage dealt to enemies affected by delay and paralysis by 2.25. It's a pretty low conditional boost, I guess. I wish this was a bit higher. And then you can choose to remove captain swap. So they've got the captain shift. If Luffy is captain, you can switch to Rob Lucci and switch to the middle right position for 10 turns. If Lucci's middle right, you can become the captain with Luffy for 10 turns. Reduces switch effect by 2. Interesting. That's kind of cool. Crit rate, dude. The crit rate stuff is also dog, man. This is just bad. Boost crew's critical rate by 30%. For 3 turns. Only the normal switch effect can be activated after using 2 times. Only the normal switch effect can be activated after using it 2 times. Wait, okay, that's odd. Reduces special bind duration by 7 turns. Okay, so you have to use 2 switches before you get the base switch? Is that what I'm reading? I don't know, chat, you might have to hit me up with that one. That seems a little odd, right? Only normal switch effect can be activated after using it 2 times. The way that's worded sounds like you have to captain shift twice before you activate this, which doesn't make sense. I don't really get that. Special bind duration removal by 7 is quite good, because this is their base switch. A base switch to remove 7 turns of their own special bind. Yeah, not the crew's, but their own special bind, because their special removes special bind. And then it changes adjacent slots to tandem, base attack by 500 that can be overwritten. Again, like, it's kind of whatever. I mean, this makes sense for themselves. This is cool. Interesting. Interesting. Well, we really need to see exactly, you know, like the solo captains, because that's going to be kind of interesting to see how that kind of works. I'm late. Is this the new unit? Yes, this is the brand new global anniversary unit, Luffy and Lucci, which we kind of predicted was going to be the case. And we've got a Zoro and Kaku to go through as well. So from what I'm seeing from Luffy and Lucci, this character's pretty strong. I gotta admit, this character's pretty strong. Mainly because this special ability right here, is very good. Double stacking conditional boost and set target status, so long as you have a Dex or a Quick Captain that is also Fighter Slasher as one of their classes, and then their other class is Shooter or Free Spirit. So this could be quite good. This could be quite good, but we'll see. We'll see. The captain shift stuff and the EX super is kind of weird. The final tap is bad. The captain ability is solid. It's kind of clunky in my opinion. All right, let's look at the Rumble special 31 CT. Targets shooter characters for level 6 attack. Targets one Psi-type powerhouse class enemy. Dude, come on, get out of here. It's specifically targeting S-Bear. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, that's so oddly specific. That's like rarely ever going to come up. Targets 2 enemies with low HP for 1.4 damage, 2 times your defense. Okay, that's good. But like this, come on, dude. That's just ridiculous. Rumble super special. If you have them at max level limit break. So you get shooter teammates, attack and defense 7. Okay, come on, let's be real. Okay, I gotta say that... Okay, hang on. I want to look at their Rumble ability. Shooter teammates, attack, defense 7, speed 7. That's good for the first 20 seconds. Wow. I mean, this is one thing that I've been saying for a while for the shooter teams in Pirate Rumble. Is that shooter teams... They've had some pretty good, like, subsidiary support units, but they've never had characters that are, like, big damage dealers. This feels like a step in the right direction. The problem is 31 CT is a little harsh. And this character at base level 99, like 1.4 damage through defense to 2 enemies twice. It's quite good, but I don't think this character is going to be amazing until you get the investments into this guy. This could be quite good though. Like this is going to help. This is going to help for sure. And then the GP burst is non-existent, which is upsetting. But okay, so in Rumble, they are a shooter-focused DPS unit. And in normal content, the way that you kind of look at this is that this unit in normal content is kind of like a... It's going to be good for high damage content. Being able to inflict set target status and double stacking conditional boost, removing special bind on the crew could be a very valuable unit. But at the end of the day, it's another Monkey D. Luffy, which will always kind of combat other Luffy positions on the crew. So that could be the inherent downside to this guy. So yeah, that's kind of the only thing that really comes out to me. But overall, I was expecting this character to be like very middle of the road, but I'm kind of pleasantly surprised that this character special is as good as what it is. Obviously, there is the inherent issue with you need to have the very specific color and classes as your captains to get all of the abilities to activate, but if you do fulfill it, you get quite some good stuff. And then this character's decent in Rumble for shooter squads because shooters kind of needed a bit of support for sure. So it seems fine, but I do agree with you, chat. I don't think it's like a super exciting unit. I was definitely expecting like it to be a little bit more exciting than this, but I mean, even the artwork wise, like Luffy kind of looks a little weird. And look, it's another Gear 4 Luffy. We haven't had another Gear 4 Luffy in a while, right? Like, come on, dude. All right, so that's Rob Lucci. Let's move on to the next guy, which is going to be Zoro and Kaku. I gotta say, artwork wise, this looks incredible. Artwork wise looks really good. I like the look of Kaku. Zoro looks badass as hell. Very cool artwork. And look, this is just a little bit of a theory running, but my assumption is that this guy in Pirate Rumble is going to do damage to Int Slasher or Int Driven or something like that to specifically go against S-Hawk. But artwork wise, this character looks really cool. Let's zoom in and have a look. So Zoro and Kaku are Slasher and Shooter focused. Let's see. They have Super Switch Effect, Slasher Class, and Shooter Class EX Super and Super Tandem. I'm judging just by everything I'm reading so far. This character looks way more exciting. Let's see. Let's go to the captain. Let's see. When Zoro is the captain at the start of the quest, activates an effect that boosts damage dealt to defense down or ignited status by 3x for 5 turns. and reduces crew switch effect by 2. If Kaku is the captain, boost damage dealt to defense down or increase damage taken by 3x for 5 turns and reduce switch effect by 2. So very similar to Usopp and Lilith, where they give you like a buff that lasts for 5 turns at the start of the quest. Again, could be quite good in a super boss sense, and the fact that you can captain shift them around would make this character valuable in that sense. So this is now their double character abilities. Let's zoom in again. Double character abilities. Fighter, shooter, free spirit, slasher, 6x when you have a matching slot, 1.3 otherwise, or 1.3 HP, 5.5 times attack otherwise. This is already looking better, but I can already see there's no utility effect in their captain, like the special reverse stuff from Luffy and Lucci, so that's an inherent downside. Quick Dex Tandem, beneficial. When a quick / dex type character with crit performs a crit, reduces damage reduction and damage threshold by 2 turns. I mean, I guess it's kind of cool, but it's not wowing me, I'll say. Let's have a look at the special. Hopefully the special is good for this guy. It does damage 100 times attack in non-type damage to all enemies, ignoring everything except normal attacks only. Reduces crew's attack down by 6 turns. That's quite good. Reduces all enemies damage reduction, Rainbow Shield, from... Oh, no. It's damage reduction from certain slot effects by 6 turns. Okay, I kind of like that because there's essentially no characters in the game that can actually remove that ability. So that's kind of cool that they do that. Sets the chain multiplier minimum to 3.0 and a maximum of 35.0 for 1 turn. There's no condition attached to that, so this special will always give you a very good chain boundary. That's good. And a plus 2.0 chain boost for 1 turn. So that stacks very well with this. Okay. If this character is basically in the top row at the start of the quest and is a crewmate when you launch the special, so if you've captain shifted away, extends the duration of your conditional boosts by 1 turn. Further increases attack and all boosts that are launched after this special by the crew. Applies to support effects as well by 0.35. And then after that becomes Zoro Kaku for 3 turns. If I would not know it's an anniversary unit, I would never guess it's one. That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Then again, if you look at what Luffy and Lucci do, double stacking conditional boost and set target status, that is not something that comes around very often, man. Like, that on one unit, that's not normal for an end of month character. This character as well, in terms of special, is a lot more powerful compared to what we've seen from end of month characters. Like, you definitely can tell this character is better than a lot of end of month characters. Like, this character special is very good. Attack down removal of damage from slots is very rare. Very good chain boundary, very good chain boost, and then this other effect regarding, you know, captain shift mechanics or captain swapping to extend the duration of your conditional boost. This effect is kind of it's kind of whatever. And then when you use their special ability, any other effect that gives you attack or orb boosts from a special, right? Yeah, from a special or a support effect, it gets immediately buffed by 0.35. Yeah, this is a pretty good special. Like, not a lot of utility in this character, but this character provides some pretty good damage. The utility is basically this. Okay, we'll see. We'll see what else they have. Crewmate ability. They reduce crew's attack down by 1 turn as a sub, so they technically can remove up to 7 turns of attack down. That's pretty cool. Do they have fear reduction? They do not. They've got tandem, which we'll check out in a sec, but crit and barrier pen could be quite good. Let's move on to the super tandem. At the final battle, when 2 or more of the following characters are on the crew. So it's a pretty typical super tandem. You have to tab with them and then 2 other units. And the 2 other units are Straw Hats, CP9 units or CP characters. And Stussy is included in that too. Applies a tandem attack boost of 2x to fighter, shooter, free spirit, slasher. Further adds 75% increased damage on critical attack. Okay, that's kind of trash. Dude, the crit stuff is just so lame. Like, I get that they, like... The whole crit stuff, I get it, but it's just dumb. It's just dumb. I hate it. I'm not a big fan of the whole crit stuff on these characters. Yeah, a little underwhelming. When I first read further adds 75% increased damage, I'm like, hang on, what's going on here? And then it says to critical attack. It's like, come on, dude. We were almost there. This could have been insane. But no, okay, well, yeah, it's a super tandem that, you know, if you max out, it's cool, but you don't have to go above and beyond to get this maxed out, I don't think so. Yeah, a little underwhelming for the super tandem. Not as underwhelming as Luffy and Lucci's final tap, though, I'll say. Alright, EX Super. After super switching to Zoro and Kaku when 3 or more of the following characters are on the crew. Okay. Changes slasher to super slasher, shooter to super shooter, 70 times attack. So tab timing bonus damage for 5 turns. Who was the unit? I want to pull up the database real quick. Who was the unit from the New Year's celebration that wanted to have 5 turns of tab timing bonus damage for their abilities? I think it's Ace and Whitebeard, right? I'm pretty sure it was Ace and Whitebeard. My internet is so bad right now. Because I'm pretty sure... Because Sabo gave end of turn healing. And then Ace and Whitebeard's EX gave base attack. And then Luffy gave tap timing bonus damage, right? Because you'd want to use Luffy first, and then Ace and Whitebeard's buff would get buffed because of the tap timing. I'm pretty sure it's Ace and Whitebeard. Ace and Whitebeard are fighter powerhouse focused. So not a lot of overlap technically I guess, because they do buff fighters with their abilities. Where's their captain ability? I mean, yeah, where's their captain ability? Yeah, they do buff fighters, so technically you could use Ace and Whitebeard with them. Interesting. Not amazing synergy, but there is synergy nonetheless. So the EX supers. Okay, what else does it? Allows Crew's lock chain multiplier effect to be further buffed 2 times. Further increases it by 0.5. Oh wow, that's quite good. So when you activate their special first, I assume their super switch allows them to, yeah, they fuse in their super switch. So you activate their super switch, they become the combined form, use their special ability, which gives you this, and then technically you can get that. No, it doesn't extend chain locks. It just extends conditional boosts. But either way, you can activate their EX super after you combine and use their special to buff it by 0.5, meaning that their special ability actually gives you a 3.5 chain boundary, which is, again, very good, on top of that chain boost that they provide. And you can further buff it 2 times. So you can have another ability that further buffs it again. So you could potentially get like a 4.0 chain boundary, that's pretty strong. Pretty strong. Let's have a look at the base switch effect first. Reduces all enemies' defense by 50%. That's interesting. Reduces crew's attack down. Wow, they just have a ton of attack down removal. Okay. Fighter, shooter, free spirit, slasher characters attacked by 1.5 for 1 turn that can be overwritten. That's very good. It's very good. Super switch effect. I don't think it tells us how many switches they require. That's going to be a really, really big game changer. Super switch sets all enemies' defense to 0, ignoring immunity. That's very good. Reduces attack down by 1. Boosts fighter, shooter, free spirit, slasher characters attack and slot effects by 1.75 that can be overwritten. Extends the duration of your conditional boosts by 2 turns. Wow, extends the duration of conditional boosts by 2 turns from a super switch is quite good. Dude, this character just straight up seems kind of decent, to be honest. And then, I mean, okay, they got the Rumble stuff coming up, but overall, I kind of like this unit. This unit is, like, way easier to use compared to the Luffy and Lucci. Luffy and Lucci are very, very good in high damage content, being able to inflict those 2 very rare buffs of set target status and a double stacking conditional boost. It seems very good. But when you compare it to what Zoro and Kaku are doing, you know, they don't need much for them to, like, get going. They are like a very good support unit on a team that gives you great utility. Well, I say great utility. It's not amazing utility, but decent utility, at least in terms of removing attack down, as well as having the ability to remove the damage reduction from slots, which is a very rare gimmick that no one can really get rid of. And considering it's somewhat common in content, artwork is god tier. I absolutely love this artwork. And captain ability is a downfall for this unit. It's not great, but they've got a lot of usefulness as a sub. Their switches are great. Both switch and super switch are very good. I think there's a lot to like here with Zoro and Kaku, whereas like Luffy and Lucci, they seem kind of difficult to use. Their captain ability has at least some redeeming qualities with being able to resist special reverse. I do like that. So I see what they're trying to do here. I see what they're trying to do. One thing that I will say is it is disappointing that their premium, I guess, their premium potential ability is kind of terrible, to be honest. It's pretty bad. Let's go over to their Rumble stuff. So in Pirate Rumble, they are going to give Slasher and Shooter HP 6, Speed 6, and they give themselves 8 attack, 8 defense. I can't say that's great. It's just okay. I'm not a big fan of speed increases. I think it's kind of mediocre. And the fact that they only give them to themselves is a little bit underwhelming. Okay, so 26 CT, they give themselves a level 5 attack increase. Target one int type slasher enemy for 1.5 damage ignoring defense. So it's supposed to be targeting S-Hawk, of course. And then performs the following 2 times. Target one high attack enemy for defense down level 5 and 4.5 times damage. And level 5 attack down. Okay, so he targets one high attack enemy, so I assume that he just does it twice against the same enemy. So it's like, if he kills that one enemy, he then will just target the next highest attack enemy. Okay. He does defense down, damage, and then attack down on that enemy. Interesting. Interesting. 26 CT for this is pretty good. Obviously, very good against int slasher focused teams. Very good against S-Hawk, obviously. They got a Super Rumble special though. You need to be hit twice. Higher attack increase. You target 2 int slashes for higher damage. And then it's just more damage, more defense down, more attack down, all that typical stuff. Okay. So, I mean, I think they're pretty good. All things considered, I was expecting a lot less. The one thing is that I feel like a lot of people are just not that excited the fact that we're getting more Straw Hat stuff. And I can't really say that I disagree with that. I totally agree to the fact that, you know, more Straw Hats. It's like, whatever. Like, we inevitably get new Zoros, new Luffys. It's whatever. I mean, more specifically the Luffy thing, because we get so many Luffys in Treasure Cruise, and they always make really, really good Luffys. And it's like, are you going to use this guy over some of the other Luffys that we have in the game? Maybe. Who knows? But if you took their abilities that they have and you gave them to characters that don't get much representation in the game, I think people would be hella excited about this. But it just feels a little weird because imagine investing a bunch in this Sugo Fest to pull this Luffy Lucci, and then it's like, oh, you know, in a couple months' time, in May, we get another new Luffy for the 11th anniversary, and it's just a way better version than this, and you don't even need to use this guy anymore. Yeah, it's just kind of weird. We just get way too many Luffys, so if it's hard to really like find value in characters like this. It's cool that Lucci gets a pretty good legend too, and I think that the Zoro Kaku is kind of interesting because we don't get that many good Zoro legends. Like, the only real character this is going to compete with is Zoro and Sanji, and I mean, Zoro and Sanji is still the best legend in the game probably at this point, but this character is quite good. I'm not going to say this character is bad because I'm not going to lie. Like, this character's got some very redeeming qualities. Their Rumble stuff, I will say, is a little interesting. I don't know if these characters are going to be like high tier Rumble characters, but I will say that it is disappointing that these characters that have come out, they don't have Grand Party stuff. So it means that our Grand Party meta is not going to be changing. So yeah, that's a little disappointing in that regard. But anyways, chat, I want to start reading the chat messages now. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about these guys. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. But I have to choose Zoro Kaku. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people really will like the Zoro Kaku stuff, but the thing is like Luffy and Lucci special, like this is so good. This special is quite good. Of course, you need to fulfill this condition, but if you are fulfilling the condition, like getting both of these buffs simultaneously is quite good. Quite good. And they give you a full board of tandem slots as well. They give you... I guess that's another thing that's kind of interesting, right? Is that they provide a delayed and a paralysis conditional boost, but their own kit doesn't inflict delay or paralysis anywhere. So that is a little weird. Because Zoro and Kaku do. Zoro and Kaku with their switch effect. Super switch gives defense down. I mean, technically they don't really give a conditional boost. They do as a captain. So if you abuse the whole captain shift stuff, you can get stuff going that way. But it just feels a little weird. I'm more excited about the Annie characters that I'm missing from the past, though. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we should be expecting, you know, the big units to be coming back. Characters like Dex, Goldie Roger, who's one of the best legends in the game. Cross Guild's going to be coming back for those who don't have him yet. He's a fantastic unit. The waifu's coming back would be pretty cool too. Some of the Film Red characters as well. Not completely broken, but got some potential. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it makes sense. Don't you just need Dex or Quick Captain to get all the benefits for Luffy Lucci? Zoro Sanji could turn everyone to Free Spirit Slasher anyway. So let's go back. Let's have a look. So the special ability, yeah, so you need a fighter or slasher unit to get the double stat condition, and then shooter or free spirit to get the set target status. So yes, technically, yeah, Zoro and Sanji fulfill that role perfectly, giving everyone that class change. The thing is, though, is that Bandai have really gone out of their way to limit the usefulness of Zoro and Sanji in the most recent couple of Super Boss Kizunas, where they've made it so that, you know, Zoro and Sanji are not... They've been less and less optimal moving forward because they kind of realize how busted that character is, and they've made it way more difficult to actually use them. So I guess we'll have to wait and see exactly what they have planned moving forward. But yes, that is correct. Being able to change everyone to Free Spirit and Slasher is very powerful. So as long as your captain is either Dex or Quick with Zoro and Sanji, you can get all of these to activate. But yeah, as I said, the only real issue that I find, I guess, now that everything is kind of laid out there, is that while they do provide double stacking conditional boosts, like they provide in the EX Super, they provide a condition, or they provide a conditional boost, but they don't give you delay or paralysis, unless if this is worded weirdly. And yeah, that could be a problem. That, because it means another character on your crew needs to fulfill the role of either delaying or paralyzing the opponent, and that might be really hard to do, because typically characters in the past that have had the ability to inflict double stacking conditional boosts give you a conditional boost and the condition all fulfilled in one kit, and this character doesn't do that, which is just kind of weird. The Zoro art is way better. Yeah, dude, like, it's just not even a competition. The Zoro and Kaku artwork goes so freaking hard, man. Like, this artwork is so good, and like the Luffy and Lucci one just feels so flat, whereas this one's like super dynamic, and the shading looks so much better on this too. The Luffy and Lucci one just looks really weird. I mean, Gear 4 always looks kind of weird though. It is what it is. I guess I'll take this time now to see if they have posted... Yeah, they've posted the official breakdowns of these characters. So we'll see if there's any major changes, or they might not have like the solo captains on here. Alright, so let's see here. Everything is the same, obviously. Nothing too crazy. Switch effect. Captain shift. So, yeah, Monkey D. Luffy's captain. You can switch to Lucci. Switch to middle right for 10 turns. If Lucci is the middle right, you switch to Monkey D. Luffy for 10 turns in the captain. Reduces switch effect by 2 and boosts crew's critical hit rate for 3 turns. But on the official website, they had like a weird wording for this, where in their shift, it mentions at the bottom, captain shift, only the normal switch effect can be activated after using it 2 times. Like, what does that even mean? Like, I don't really understand that. How many switches do they need? It doesn't... Oh, wait, no, it's a captain shift. It's not a super switch, but I want to look at Zoro Kaku and how many they need for their super switch. So you can use the shift twice. Yeah, middle right position. Okay. And, bro, I don't get it. Why is their final tap so garbage? What are they doing? What are they doing? And the EX Super changes crew slots including block to tandem, changes characters slot including super block into tandem, which is very good. And then you get the delay and paralysis conditional boost, but they don't inflict delay or paralysis, so it doesn't make sense to me. It's just very, very odd overall. I don't get it. They've got something going on. They got like a hard on for these base attack boosting final taps. They're so bad. They're so freaking bad, dude. All right, let's check out Zoro Kaku. How many switches do they need for their super switch? It's 6. Okay, that's not the end of the world. 6 is manageable for sure. And I don't think there's really much else that we really need to see here. Their super tandem could be a lot better. It's just a very simple final battle. 2 of the units listed into 2x boost. So it's not... It does give a 75% crit damage buff, but like crit damage, as we know, is not that important. It's kind of a mediocre buff. And the EX Super is fine. Yeah, the EX Super is just fine. And it can be used as a crewmate. That's a positive. That's always good. They should really make that a standard moving forward. All EX Supers should be allowed to be used as crewmates, to be honest. It just makes the character more functionable, you know? And their switch effects are quite impressive, I will say. They got some pretty impressive switch effects here. I kind of dig it, to be honest. Okay. And that's kind of it. I mean, they've got some interesting captains, I suppose. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Zoro and Kaku's captain ability. I'd much prefer Luffy and Lucci's captain ability. But the thing that I kind of get from this is that, like, Zoro and Kaku are very easy to just inject into a lot of teams, and they're just going to work really well. And, like, Luffy and Lucci, you really have to, like, plan your team out a bit more efficiently first in order to get the most out of their abilities. But, like, Zoro and Kaku, you just chuck them in a team, they'll just give you good shit. That's the way that it kind of goes. So, Zoro Kaku, much easier to use. Luffy Lucci have a much higher ceiling, though. That's the way that I kind of see it. But overall, I mean, it's not super exciting, is it? I mean, like, it's exactly what we expected. Like, it's literally exactly what we expected it was going to be. I mean, I made a video a couple of days ago talking about this is exactly what the Global Annie is going to be, and this is exactly what the Global Annie is, so... Yeah, and that's the thing as well, is that there's nothing really new coming from this celebration. Like, it's all the same content, just recycled. You know, we're still getting another treasure map, we're still getting PvP season, we're getting a world cruise, which we had the exact same world cruise last year, you know, pretty typical stuff. But anyways, guys, that's going to wrap up the YouTube video section of this. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.